This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
On my way home last night, I was listening to Brad Sham do his Victory Monday performance, which, you know, it's always better after a win. We know that. We really haven't gotten to experience a true Victory Monday, even though there's been one. It really didn't feel like a Victory Monday, and in this particular case, it was a Victory Tuesday. But he had on Eric Kendricks. He is the middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'd never heard him speak before, but he had his very bright voice and very engaged and a good spirit and well-spoken and all those things. But the thing that stood out to me was the fact that they were talking about when he won the Butkus Award out of UCLA in 2014. And I didn't know this about the Butkus Award, and Brad Sham asked Eric Kendricks if he knew who Dick Butkus was before he received that award. He said he did, and he listed off some other guys in the National Football League that had played middle linebacker before, and he was aware of some of the history with Butkus and Mike Singletary and the Chicago Bears. But apparently, Jamie, when Dick Butkus was alive and well, this award over the years has been awarded in person. And he knew that he was up for the award because he's on a watch list. And he said they were practicing, getting ready for a bowl game. It was one of those, December practices after the end of the regular year and in between the bowl game. And the coach called the team over into a huddle, and the gate opened, and there's Dick Butkus with his award. And
That's cool.
It was really cool, really, really cool in terms of how that was awarded to him and presented to him. And he was really moved by that. And I thought that, like I said, I thought that was a really cool story that came out of the Victory Monday with Brad Sham last night during the Cowboys Hour on Double T 97.3. We'll have the Cowboys on Sunday. They take on the New Orleans Saints. And we'll see if the Cowboys can stack a little success and get the offense to, I think, perform for a full 4 quarters. I think first half they were really pleased. Second half, not so much. But the defense is what stole the day on Sunday. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. And if you can play like that, complimentary football, special teams were good. Offense didn't put your defense in bad spots. Your defense didn't give up a whole lot, put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You're gonna win a lot of football games doing that. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Pepsi Man says this. Good morning from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Man, I hope we really beat North Texas this week, because if not, Chuck's head's gonna explode next week. Have a great day, guys. Okay. I think more than my head will explode.
Yeah, I think Chuck's prediction was that we were going to be a good team that would struggle with that it just wouldn't be that easy against North Texas.
Right, that was my prediction.
Right now, we're not the good team part of things.
Mm-hmm. There's far too much money being put into this program for these results. Changes will be made. Well,
Well, if that's the case, you'd have to spend a bunch more money, right?
Yeah. I don't know if changes are going to be made, but I mean, you certainly, and I mean, there's always some adjustments in your coaching staff and things along those lines. But man, you surely, like you said, I mean, you want to see if you can right the ship at this point in time. And I don't know. I guess the way that you right the ship at this point in time, because of how you started this season, is you just don't make it a game against North Texas. It doesn't mean you have to win by 31 points or anything like that. But, if you played good football where you felt like, okay, the game's never in doubt, that the offense doesn't sputter, the defense doesn't give up just chunks and chunks of yards where you feel lucky to get out, and your kickers do what they're supposed to do, I think doesn't mean that you're going to go, okay, hey, we are who we thought we were. We're better than what we've put on the field the last couple of games, but you certainly would have a better taste in your mouth going into Big 12 play.
Yeah, no, it's a win handily. It's a take care of business this weekend, and that's the start of it. You can't get to it before you start playing Big 12 games.
Yeah. Listen, this question, we've already did something with him. I guess I'll go ahead and read this. Did you find it strange that McGuire kept calling out the defense but refused to admit the offense kept turning the ball on the short end of the field? He didn't refuse to admit that. He talked about that. He talked about the pre-snap penalties. It just seemed like it didn't seem like it was. He was harsher on the defense than the offense. It was clear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was harsher on the defense. The defense hasn't played well at all the first two games. It played a little bit better, maybe against Washington State, although you look at, and I'd say a little bit better, maybe a little bit better, but not really. I mean, when you give up 200 yards to a quarterback that you didn't expect to run the ball like that, you expected him to throw the ball. And even Coach McGuire in his post-game press conference referenced and went back to K-State, how we've not been able to stop the K-State quarterback, which I thought was really kind of interesting because he's right. Mm-hmm. And, the week before in a post-game press conference, he
long before Joey McGuire got here, we had trouble corralling the K-State quarterback.
Yes. But he went back to the Oregon game and making a bad decision, which Tyler Shuck did, and it was just
what they criticized Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, right. So I mean, I know. It's just interesting how that took place. Anyway,
in fairness, he criticized Lubbock first. We were just returning the favor.
We were just. Yeah.
I just said we'd never heard that when he was here.
Uh-huh.
He was untouchable.
Yeah. To a degree. Yeah. To a degree, and so yeah. So
well, not by the other teams. He was very touchable to the other teams.
Yeah, sure. He sure was.
I don't know about. There's a bunch of teams that didn't get to touch him because he was always hurt.
There's that.
But, I mean, it was really frustrated on the offensive side, just frustrated with the pre-snap penalties and the hands to the face. He called that a lack of discipline. The fourth down, they're going to go through the coach's copy and the TV copy and kind of see how that goes. But right now they're 103rd in converting fourth downs. They're, I guess, reevaluating everything, which is what you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're in that spot. But I just felt like the one fourth down call that I just did not like was when it was 4th and 11. Just punt the ball, flip the field, see if your defense can get a stop. I mean, but the thing that they're frustrated with, too, is they're not playing complementary football. So they're just not playing football right now. I mean, we can all see that, and they can see that. They're trying to fix that.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is September the 10th, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
You're going to start off in 1950 with Joe DiMaggio becoming the first to hit 3 home runs at Griffin Stadium.
That was in D.C.
1960, future Hall of Famer Jerry Lucas scores 23 points as the U.S. wins its 5th straight men's basketball Olympic gold medal with a 90-63 drubbing of Brazil at the Rome Games.
Okay.
1961, Mickey Mantle becomes the 7th player to hit home run number 400. The fact that I don't think 400 gets you in the top 20 now? Is that right?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
And in 61, he was number 7.
Mm-hmm.
1972, American men's 4x100 meter relay team of Larry Black, Robert Taylor, Gerald Tinkler, and Eddie Hart combined for a world record 38.19 to beat the Soviet Union for the gold medal at the Munich Olympics.
They were wearing the CCCP jerseys for that one, too. The throwbacks.
They weren't throwbacks then.
I was going to say they weren't the throwbacks.
Those were what they were wearing.
The real ones, right. The real ones.
1974, Major League Baseball, St. Louis Cardinals Lou Brock ties and then sets baseball's stolen base mark, getting his 104th and 105th stolen base. 1989, 5 days after hitting a home run for the Yankees in a 12-2 win over the Mariners, Major League Baseball and NFL player Deion Sanders returns a punt 68 yards for a touchdown, his first of the season. 1997, Mark McGwire joins Babe Ruth as the only players to hit 50 home runs in 2 consecutive seasons. And in 2022, Donovan Smith ran for 9 yards and a touchdown in the second overtime, lifting Texas Tech to a 33-30 victory over number 25 Houston.
Now he plays for them.
It's weird.
Yeah.
College sports is crazy now.
Happy National Ants on a Log Day. So raisins and peanut butter on a celery stick, I think is what it is.
Raisins and peanut butter on a celery stick.
I think I've got that right.
I've never had that before. I think it would be fine. I wouldn't hate any. I'm fine with all those things, so I'm sure it'd be all right.
Big birthdays going out today to a couple of former Red Raiders. Both of them, oddly enough, named Brandon. One of them, Brandon Francis, turns 30 today. So congratulations to Chuck's guy. And
you
also,
better text him, Chuck.
Yeah, I don't have his...
FaceTime with him or something.
Yeah. I'll send him a Facebook happy birthday.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
And then probably one of all of our favorites, happy birthday, former Texas Tech offensive lineman Brandon Carter is 38 today.
A little bit crazy there.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's our crazy, though. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I wouldn't
sure.
say... I think, I wouldn't say one of my favorites. I mean, he got himself suspended for a game for his behavior.
Right. And how many guys have been suspended for a game?
I'm just saying, to sit here and say he's one of my favorites, I can't say that. I enjoyed what he did.
He's one of my favorites.
Okay.
He was a character on a very good team. And he was one of the reasons that they were good. And our offensive line could use a little Brandon Carter in them.
Yes, all the above. He also was very outspoken at one point and critical of the coach and all that, which I didn't love. So,
also birthdays today: Joey Votto, 41, Randy Johnson, 61. Think he could still pitch his age?
Oh yeah, I bet he can hit 61. Sure.
You mean throw a 61-mile-an-hour fastball?
Yes.
That's what you mean?
That's exactly what I meant.
Pitching your age? Okay. I've heard of golfing your age.
Bill O'Reilly today turned 75. Ben Wallace is 50. And Jay Williams is 43. And on this day in 1897, a 25-year-old London taxi driver named George Smith becomes the very first person ever arrested for drunk driving after slamming his cab into a building. Smith later pled guilty and was fined 25 shillings. In the United States, the first laws against operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol went into effect in New York in 1910. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, this day in sports history, 650. All right, so looking at the all-time Major League Baseball home run list, you have to go down to number 29 before you find somebody in the 400s. Lou Gehrig and Fred McGriff tied for 29th with 493. Adrian Beltre at 477.31 on that list. He's 2 home runs. And here's something for you. I don't recall Stan Musial. He's before my era. But if you'd have said to me, who hit more home runs, Willie Stargell or Adrian Beltre, I probably would have told you Willie Stargell. But Adrian Beltre had 2 more than Willie Stargell.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where is 400 on the list? Like 400.
Okay.
If you're that far down at 470.
So Andres Galarraga and Al Kaline tied for 59th with 399. Duke Snyder was at 407. He was 58th on the list. Okay.
What a difference 60 years makes, huh?
Yeah, and if you'd have told me that Joe Carter had more home runs than Johnny Bench, I probably would have been surprised by that. Carter played for the Blue Jays, of course, hit that game-winning home run. And, Bench, was
Bench was a great player, but he was also a catcher. Those careers are judged a lot differently than an outfielder is.
Yeah.
And then
I know, but he hit a lot of home runs for a catcher.
Oh, he did. Yeah, I'm not in any way taking anything away from Johnny Bench. That would be stupid. But it's such a different position offensively speaking.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like Piazza doesn't. I don't think Piazza's got 400.
And if you'd have told me that Craig Nettles, the old Yankee third baseman, hit 390 if he hit more than Frank Howard, who hit 382, I would have said, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that either. Nettles wasn't like a great home run hitter.
No, but he hit 390 of them. He's 64th on the list, and he was one more than Johnny Bench. So, anyway, that's always a fun little list when you think of that. So that's good. All right, 6:52 this morning here on the morning drive. Somebody agrees with you. Yeah, could use some Brandon Carter now for sure. It just and really maybe some gelling, because I think they would say that in terms of emotional leader, which is I think what you're referring to with regard to Brandon Carter, right? Emotional leader. I think you'd say Caleb Rogers is that player. Is he as good as Brandon Carter was? Maybe not.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah. So, Brandon Carter not only was he a vocal person, but he was good on the football field as well. I mean, he was massive. He was massive. 6:53 this morning here on the morning drive. High School Fan Zone tonight. Coaches from Monterey and Lubbock High will visit with Randy Rosetta. That'll be at 7 o'clock on 100.7 The Score. Then the Astros and the A's from Houston, and then the Rangers and the Diamondbacks here on Double T 97.3 from Arizona's ballpark. Have you been to that ballpark in Arizona?
I have not.
You have not? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just was curious if you had.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Got the pool out there and everything.
How about this? Happy birthday to our senior advisor. It's an unofficial title for him. Washed Up Guy is 73 today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Washed Up Guy. You're not so washed up. You're still listening to us. That's good. I mean, if you were washed up on the beach somewhere, that would be bad. But happy birthday to Washed Up Guy.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Okay, your question.
All right. So usually my question has there's a point with the question.
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't say usually. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, most
there's
times,
a point.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me the 3 Red Raiders that you feel like have played the best so far this season. Mike, who are the guys that have stood out? Who are our best 3 players?
Okay.
Who have played the best? I think normally you would throw Taj Brooks in there, but it's hard to do that when he's missed 50% of the games.
I can't do that.
Who has played the best so far this season?
I think 2 guys that helped you win a football game are Gino Garcia and Reese Burkhardt. And then I think the other guy is Dre McRae. I think that's where I'm going. I think I'm going the 2 kickers and Dre McRae.
Okay.
I mean, because there's no real knocks against him. I mean, I don't think. I mean, nothing really stands out.
What if I told you had to turn the 2 kickers into a just kicker?
A kicker. Okay, the kicking position.
Yep.
Dre McRae. Okay. And Josh Kelly.
Okay.
So nobody on defense. Now, if you're going to tell me, well, you got to pick a defensive guy.
No, I'm not going to tell you that.
Then that becomes challenging.
That becomes a lot harder.
Yeah, it becomes
I'd agree with Chuck on the kickers. And Josh Kelly has been a very nice piece on your offensive side. I think he's done a lot of great things for you. Going back to your question, I think it was last week, of guys that surprised us in game 1 and disappointed us in game 1. Dre McRae's in that category on both sides. So it's hard for me to put him in this conversation of playing, being one of your better players. It's not coming off his best game, but I also don't blame him completely for what happened on Saturday. I'm going to put Baron Morton in this list. When it comes to the offense, while he's not been perfect, he's given you some opportunities that you need to capitalize more on. And he can play better, but when I'm looking at the list of people to choose from, he's performed better than they have.
Okay. I'm going to go with the kicker position. Okay. I think that's number one. They've been perfect.
I feel like vindicated by you. I'm not.
Kickers.
This doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Didn't feel vindicated by me, just Jamie. Okay, now I know where I stand.
We've made all extra points. We've made all field goals. They've done what they've been asked to do. Okay, maybe not perfect because of the the kickoffs, but really close to it. I think one guy has stood out on offense to me. That's Josh Kelly. I guess the only reason I stay away from Dre McRae is because he really didn't do much for you at all this week. He was okay, but just not great receiving, and didn't do anything for you in the kick game because he never got a chance.
Yeah,
and
I kicked away from him.
Yeah, which shows respect and all the above. But they took him out of the game effectively. Okay, and so I am going to add one defensive player. My third guy is going to be Jacob Rodriguez.
Okay.
He's leading you by far in tackles at this point of the season with 20 of them. Nobody else has more than 14. Also has a couple tackles for loss, which leads the Red Raiders as well. So, yeah, I guess my point here is it's hard to answer this, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's hard. Nobody is just like been awesome.
After two games.
Yeah. Nobody, and again, Taj would probably be on this list if he played last week because he would have had 80 to 130 yards or whatever, and we would have put him on there. But the kickers have, which was a worrisome position, have done what we asked them to do, make their kicks. Okay. I definitely would have put Barron in there after week one, but I thought Barron was a part of the problem this week, so I didn't put him in there. Week two, after 2 weeks. Now the only, I don't know. I think Josh Kelly has been really, really good. He did have the fumble that was, I don't know, felt like after that it was over.
Yeah, it was a big one. No doubt.
Still has 19 grabs for 250 yards already this year, so he's off to a great start.
Let me ask you this, 737, you can weigh in as well, and one person does. They add Caulfield, Jaden Caulfield, who had a big stop, obviously, in the ACU game, along with Kelly and Josh Kelly and Dre McRae. How much different is Saturday if Taj Brooks plays?
It's hard to say. I don't want to act like I feel like the game would have been closer. I don't feel like you would have won. That's just a feel. I don't really know. Well,
because I think the case I would make is that 14-point swing, and then what happened with Josh Kelly is unrelated to Taj Brooks, but the 4th and 1 call, Taj probably makes that block and you pick up the first down, so you don't have the 43-yard run right after that. But that doesn't solve your defensive problems.
Yeah, I don't know. You would like to think that you wouldn't have gotten yourself in the 4th down situations if you had Taj. You know that you're struggling a bit with the offensive line, and Taj is the perfect back to have with a struggling offensive line because he's powerful and he can handle getting hit in the backfield and still picking up yards and all of those things. So I feel like it would have been a closer game, but I don't think he would have made that much of a difference with what your defense was doing. Maybe they wouldn't have been put in as many tough spots.
And then the other thing too is maybe you don't get down as much as you did, and then you're able to play a little bit different defensively.
I don't know. He's obviously a great player, and clearly he is a key to this football team. There's no doubt about it.
But you hate to be in a position where one guy makes that much of a. You would like to think your team's deeper than that or more talented than that they could overcome that. But you just weren't able to do that on Saturday night. And somebody says, Taj doesn't help with all the pre-snap penalties. That's a fair point.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for the boom, boom, boom. Here's Jamie Lent.
All right, your Texas Rangers are back in action tonight after a night off. They'll take on the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Late start as they are playing in Arizona. 8:40 is the first pitch. Pre-game start at 8 o'clock. Nate Eovaldi takes the mound for Texas. You can hear the game right here on Double T 97.3.
All right, Jerry Jones did indeed go up to Dak Prescott at a walkthrough and basically said to him, this is from Dak, saying, "Let's surprise the world. It somewhat surprised me, but it got done." He said it was short and sweet. He said, "Let's get this thing behind us." That's what gave me confidence that they were trying to get this thing done, that we were going to meet in the middle. Jerry Jones confirmed the deal was worth the reported $60 million annually with $231 million guaranteed. He said, "I hope Dak is our quarterback for the rest of my time," and that's just not limited to the terms of the contract either. He said, "I know Dak's the best at compartmentalizing things, but I think it feeds down into the team and staff and organization." That's what Stephen Jones said. He said, "I think it's the right thing to do."
This is the middle? The middle is what we got. Okay.
Jerry also said, "I've seen too many very important deals not work out just because of miscalculating the right time when everybody's ready to go. He became convinced in the recent days that the ideal time had indeed arrived. This was the thing to do for what we're here for, and that is to win a championship. I know our fans know that."
If this was the right time.
If the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl, will you watch that game?
No. No. As long as Dak Prescott's under this contract, I'm not watching a Cowboy game. I'm not listening. I'm not paying attention. I'm still a Cowboy fan, but y'all going to have to figure it out without me.
So we'll know now anytime we have Jamie's question of the day and it has anything to do with the Dallas Cowboys, it'll just be you and I answering because it would be ignorant for him to comment on it if he's not watching, listening. It makes no sense.
Right. I mean, I've never not been
we might as well just ask the wall over there because the wall may have had the television turned on in front of them.
I mean, I can be stupid with anybody, so that would be fine.
I truly believe that the Cowboys were playing in the Super Bowl. Jeff would not watch it. I think he's that stubborn.
You think? I come from a long line of stubborn people.
Oh, boy. Houston Astros back in action tonight. They also had a day off yesterday. They're beginning a series with the A's. You can catch the game on 100.7 The Score after the High School Fan Zone completes tonight. Tonight you've got Monterey at 7 and Lubbock High at 7:30.
I've really been amazed at the reporting on this Tyreek Hill situation and the response from the head coach. You would have thought that Tyreek Hill was gunned down with no gun in his hand. The union representing Miami-Dade police said yesterday that Tyreek Hill was uncooperative and was redirected to the ground while in handcuffs. I went and watched some of the video from their vests. I mean, first of all, he calls the police officer dog, and then he keeps rolling up the window.
He keeps ignoring what he's asking him to do.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think, they said that basically he was briefly detained for officer safety after driving in a manner which he was putting himself and others in grave danger.
Why have we still not gotten a number on that? Like what
was he driving?
How fast was he driving? Or what was he doing that made the police officers feel like they needed to pull him over?
Apparently, yeah. I don't. He was cited for 2 citations. He said upon being stopped, Mr. Hill was not immediately cooperative with the officers on the scene who, pursuant to policy and for their immediate safety, placed Mr. Hill in handcuffs. Mr. Hill, still uncooperative, refused to sit on the ground, was therefore redirected to the ground. I mean, they just weren't going to mess with him. And you know what? I don't blame them at all. I think Tyreek Hill got exactly what he deserved by not being cooperative with the police officer. How many times have you been told when the police officer pulls you over, do not get out of your car, roll down your window, hand over your insurance and your driver's license, say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am? I just don't understand why it's so difficult.
Yeah, and the day before he talked about how he showed the police officer all respect and didn't, wasn't disrespectful. And I mean, if you're continuing to ignore him when he tells you to keep your window down, you are being disrespectful. Okay? Mm-hmm. And when he asks you to get out of the car and you don't get out of the car, okay, you are being disrespectful. Okay, I mean, it's just you hear the statement from the police, and I don't think it's exactly as their statement goes. Everybody that's on Tyreek Hill's side of things, I don't think it's exactly how they go. I think it's somewhere in the middle here. I lean way more towards. First off, you guys know. I mean, I think Tyreek Hill is one of the most heinous individuals that is running around on an NFL field in the history of ever. I think it's an indictment on our society that we as a country allow him to have done what he has done, and we have found a way for him to thrive in our country when he has done the things that he has done, and that we have people in this country that love him and do not care what this man has done. And we have owners in the NFL that have allowed this to happen, to say, yes, put him on my team. I want this guy to be a face of my franchise. I want this guy to represent my team, my community. That is a joke. That is disgusting. Okay? So, of course, I'm going to be leaning one side on this. Yeah. Okay? So it's not surprising where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't learn from his mistake at Oklahoma State. He didn't learn from his mistake in Kansas City.
Because he's never been held accountable. He's never been punished. He's never gone to jail for any of it.
Well, he hasn't. He pled guilty to domestic assault on the Oklahoma State deal. They declined to press charges against him after the alleged domestic violence involving his fiancee and their 3-year-old child in Kansas City. And then last offseason, he was under investigation by Miami-Dade police for assault and battery after it was reported he got into an argument with a South Florida marina worker.
And then punched him.
Right. Hill and the man later resolved their dispute.
Meaning he paid him off.
He paid him off, right.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
Our country allows it.
Yeah.
Somebody
country
says
allows
Joe
Mixon is worse in my book. Well,
have you read this story about Tyreek Hill?
I mean, they're peas of the same pod. But yeah, I mean, it's what Tyreek Hill did was despicable.
I mean,
it's despicable.
It is the stuff that horror movies are made out of.
Yeah. At any rate, this story's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, no, again, I don't think the police acted perfectly. I don't think Tyreek did either.
But he started it.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. It is great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. Come to you from the First United Bank studio here in downtown Lubbock. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app for that. It's presented by Happy State Bank. The morning drive in Cleveland didn't go so well yesterday, Jamie.
I can understand that.
This is the name of this show. It's not the morning drive in Cleveland. It's the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. And they're in Cleveland on 92.3 The Fan, okay? And their first caller of the day, Dave from Macedonia. Dave from Macedonia says, 2 numbers. And then he says, you'll figure them out, 42.9 and 144. And Mr. Carman says, what is all this? One Dave from Macedonia said, that's Watson's quarterback rating and Mayfield's quarterback rating.
I thought it was like 42. I thought it was like 9. I thought I heard it was like under 10.
But anyway,
okay, I must have heard it wrong.
Whatever the number is, Mr. Carman says, I can't do this for one more second. No, that's enough. That's enough. And then he ran the caller off. He said, the first call out of the box, we're going to do this. The first call out of the box, we're going to do this. He sounds like us or me. He basically says, they're not going to undo this trade. He said, can I have a little bit of time before he took a 30? Did Jamie, can I have a little bit of time? He ain't coming home. He ain't coming back, only to play us. That's it. He had a great day down there. Congratulations on all his success. I can't undo the trade. I can't undo it. So anyway, frustration is everywhere.
I am so incredibly mad at the Cleveland Browns because they have led me with that trade and subsequent kicking to the curb of Baker Mayfield. When they traded for Houston's problem, okay, which
continues to be a problem.
It seems like it's coming to be a Cleveland problem now.
Yeah.
When they traded for that guy and got rid of Mayfield, it just made me want to root for Mayfield.
Oh man,
because I can't stand Watson and the Browns now so much.
I got that
because of how slimy they are.
Yeah, and slimy Deshaun Watson is. But they knew what they were getting themselves into.
It's forced me to kind of pull for Baker Mayfield, which is just icky.
I still can't do that.
I don't like it, okay?
Yeah.
I just want him to do better than Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun was horrible this week, so that was awesome.
He was not very good. Yeah. He was not very good.
Maybe this new lawsuit was hanging over his head. And
well, it's funny because the guys on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe this morning that it's on for us, but before us, LeVar Arrington, he speculated a little bit that maybe this came out for a reason, that maybe there's something in his Cleveland Brown contract that if he hadn't...
that if there was another issue.
Or if there hadn't been some full disclosure as this...
But this is an old one. I know,
but this one... But it's old, but it's new.
Okay. But I mean, it happened but when he was still a Texan.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they thought everything was done. Okay, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Oh, I don't...
When you do deals that you wish you hadn't done, then you try to figure out a way to get out of those deals.
Of them. Yeah.
And sometimes you're able to, and sometimes
how much
you're not.
money has Deshaun Watson spent on paying people off?
Oh, I don't know. It's a big number. It's a big number. I mean, it's millions.
Yeah, like
20-something million.
I would have guessed double that. I would have guessed in the 40s.
I think it's 20-something million.
It's 20-something women,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, but I think it's. I don't know how many total got checks, but I mean, I think that. I mean, okay, so if it's 20, if it's 40, I mean, it's a significant amount of money.
I thought I read yesterday where he had settled with 23 of the 24.
Okay, well, number 24 just popped up. God, I mean, you're an NFL player, man. You don't have to do that, but maybe.
I'm not laughing at the crimes. I'm laughing at Deshaun Watson having to spend that much money to get himself out of trouble.
Somebody says this, let the Baker hate consume you, Chuck. Mm-hmm. I don't like the narrative that he and his dad spread and continue to spread, and then that's get accepted as fact that Texas Tech wasn't going to offer him a scholarship. I mean, if anything, he should have been a guy that should have been very grateful for his time here and very grateful that he got an opportunity to play here and should have left here with much more grace than he did.
I agree with everything you said, except the part where you said that he continues to spread the narrative. I mean, has that been brought up recently?
Well, I just feel like he doesn't throw a wet blanket on it. He didn't. I mean, I think that because like if the Browns play or if let's see, who did they play?
The Browns played the Commanders.
If
the Buccaneers played the Commanders.
Buccaneers played the Commanders.
Yeah.
Then it'll all come back up again because of Coach Kingsbury. But it is what it is, and just I look at this and go. I'm sure in that game, and I didn't watch any of that game between the Buccaneers and the Commanders, that story came up. Well, the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury used to be the head coach at Texas Tech, and Baker Mayfield played for him, and then he left Coach Kingsbury. I can hear it. Somebody says, Chuck, stop talking. Okay.
No. Now we got Jeff not talking about the Cowboys and Chuck not talking at all.
No,
and it's left up to the guy who really doesn't ever want to talk.
Listen, with all due respect to you, sir or ma'am, it'll take a hell of a lot person of a higher power to get me to stop talking because People have tried to get me to stop talking since I think about age 4. Okay, I'm 63. I'm going to be 64 next month. I am sure as hell not going to stop talking now. Okay, so you can tell me to stop talking all you want, but I'm going to keep talking. Okay. My mother gave me a sign that said from my grandfather, "You ain't learning nothing when you're talking." Okay. Well,
she gave you the sign, but she clearly did not read it.
I read it and looked at it. Okay, and went, Well, sorry. I'm just not gonna.
Man, I remember when my kids were little, and man, they had just questions about everything. Asked a million questions. I cannot imagine what little Chuck Heinz was like.
Well, I mean, my youngest sister is a pretty quiet person. Okay, and I kind of feel the blame for that because she really never got an opportunity to talk at the dinner table.
Yeah. Now that my kids are teenagers, I wish they would talk. Wish they would ask a question.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.